Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really going for it, just like we promised. Not just scratching the surface of personal finance. No, we're doing a proper deep dive into the core principles of building wealth.
Yeah, the real foundations.
Exactly. We're not talking basic budgeting tips or, 401k matching here. This is about the mindset shifts, the actual rules of the game that seem to separate the wealth builders from, well, everyone else.
Right.
We've got this stack of sources outlining these principles, and honestly, some of it feels like it goes against everything we normally hear about money.
It really does.
Yeah.
And our mission today really is to take these kind of dense ideas and pull out the sharp, actionable bits, the nuggets you can actually use.
Okay.
We're trying to find that sort of operating system that financially successful people seem to run on. And the first thing that jumps out right away is that success starts with being really careful about who you listen to.
Okay, let's jump right into that one then, because it feels like maybe the most confrontational one.
It can be, yeah.
This first core idea. You have to ignore advice from people with less money than you want.
It sounds harsh. I know. When you first hear it, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
But the thinking behind it is pretty crucial.
Okay.
It's about seeking methods that are actually proven to get you where you want to go. You need expertise, not just, sympathy or commiseration about money troubles.
Right.
If building wealth is your goal, you need the rules and the frameworks from people who've actually done it successfully.
Okay, but I have to push back a little here, because for most people listening, that sounds incredibly isolating,
Sure.
How do you tell the difference between, say, well-meaning advice from a family member who you love, who has tons of life experience, but maybe just different financial means, versus advice that's actually bad for building wealth?
That's a really fair question. And a necessary one. The distinction isn't personal, or it shouldn't be. It's operational.
Operational?
Yeah. The sources aren't saying, cut off your Aunt Mildred. They're saying you have to refuse to adopt her limiting financial rules or her scarcity mindset, if that's what she operates from. Because advice from someone who's always thinking about scarcity, it's almost certainly going to lead you toward decisions based on fear or just trying to hold on to what you have.
Containment, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Containment. So if they tell you to avoid all risk, even if they mean well, they're basically capping your potential for growth, for generation. It's about finding methods that prioritize expansion, not just safety.
That makes more sense. So you're auditing the financial blueprint they're offering, not judging them as a person.
Precisely.
And that audit, that thinking, it leads straight into the second principle you mentioned from this area, which is the need to actively seek out wealthy associations to change your own mindset.
Exactly. This is all about environment and conditioning. The idea is to consciously shift your internal financial thermostat, if you like.
Okay, I like that analogy. Thermostat.
Yeah, think about it. If your internal setting is comfortable at, say, $50,000 a year, your subconscious will kind of work to pull you back there if you start drifting too far above it. But being around people who operate at a much higher level, seeing how they think about opportunities, how they tackle problems, how they spend, how they invest it, fundamentally starts to reset that internal gauge.
Your environment shapes your expectations, your destiny, almost.
It forces you to ask bigger questions, definitely. Operate on a different scale.
And what's interesting is how those two ideas connect.
Yeah, the principles really argue you need to change the external, your circle, to help make those necessary internal shifts in your own financial blueprint. You need both.
Okay, let's unpack this next bit, because it feels like a paradox. We're always told patience is key in finance, right? Slow and steady wins the race.
Conventional wisdom, yeah.
But these principles, they make a really critical, almost contradictory point about when to use speed and when to use patience.
This is where they draw a line between money flow and wealth trajectory. It's a crucial distinction.
Okay.
The sources are pretty emphatic that money loves speed and decision-making. Yeah, this is about maximizing flow, velocity. When there's a transactional opportunity like a chance to fund a quick project, grab a short-term market edge, make a fast acquisition, money rewards being decisive. Hesitation kills deals.
Okay, so act fast on transactions. But if money loves speed, what needs the patience? Where does slow and steady fit in?
That's where wealth building comes in. While money likes quick transactions, wealth requires time and patience for irreversible decisions.
Ah, okay. Irreversible decisions.
This is fundamental. A transaction might be selling a stock quickly for a small gain. Fine, be quick. But a trajectory decision, That's like committing to a 7-year business partnership, or buying the building for your headquarters, or completely restructuring your long-term debt.
Things you can't easily walk back from.
Exactly. The micro decisions, the transactions, can be fast. But the decisions that set the house for years, maybe decades, those need slow, careful, unhurried thought.
Because rushing those leads to
Regret. Deep, lasting regret. That's what the principles warn against. You speed up the transactions, but you must slow down the trajectory decisions. Weigh all the angles. Be patient when the stakes are truly high and permanent.
Okay, that distinction is really helpful. So moving on to strategic focus then. If money moves fast in transactions, where should we aim that speed and energy?
Right.
There's a principle here that sounds simple but feels kind of revolutionary. Money flows where attention goes.
Simple but powerful.
So for the listener trying to figure out, okay, where do I put my energy? What's the main takeaway here?
The big push is to shift your primary focus away from saving and towards generation.
Paving to generation, okay?
Yeah, that's a key counterintuitive nugget.
Yeah.
So many people spend like 90% of their mental bandwidth tracking tiny savings, clipping coupons, arguing about the price of coffee.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. But that's energy spent on containment. And containment, by definition, is limited. It's finite. The argument here is that your attention, your focus, has to be redirected towards activities that actually build your capacity, that generate new, potentially exponential income streams.
It's like if I spend an hour trying to save $5, I have $5.
Right.
But if I spend that same hour focused on creating something new that could make money, the potential is way bigger. It's the ROI on your mental energy.
Exactly right. And, that shift in focus connects really nicely to two other ideas that might seem separate at first.
Which are?
Frugality drives innovation and the importance of establishing stability to encourage risk-taking.
Okay. Frugality and risk-taking, they sound almost opposite. How do those fit together?
Well, think about frugality used strategically. When you're forced to solve a problem with limited resources, you can't just throw money at it.
You have to get creative.
You have to get creative, you innovate, you find a smarter, maybe more elegant solution. And often, that forced creativity leads to something more efficient, more profitable in the long run than just spending your way out of the problem.
Okay, so being frugal forces a better plan sometimes. But you mentioned stability, too. How does that connect?
Right, because the frugal approach gives you this smarter plan, maybe.
Yay.
But you still need stability to actually execute that plan, especially if it involves some risk.
Gotcha.
You need stability as the secure base, like the foundation of a house. If the foundation's rock solid, you feel comfortable building a second story.
Right.
That second story is the risk, the innovation.
And if the foundation's shaky?
Then any risk feels like an existential threat. If your innovative idea fails and you have no stability, no cushion, you can be wiped out.
Yeah.
Stability is what gives you that secure base to use risk to deploy innovation in a controlled, strategic way. It stops you from making panicked, rushed decisions, like a shock absorber for your creative leaps.
That structural thinking is really key. Okay, let's try and round this out by looking at how these principles frame the nature of money itself. We've talked about avoiding those rushed decisions that lead to regret.
The trajectory decisions needing patience.
Right. But beyond that, how should someone aiming for success view money? What is it, according to these sources?
It's framed in two really practical ways. First, money is a game with rules to be learned.
A game.
Yeah. If you see it as a game, you accept there are rules. There's a scoreboard. There are actions that lead to winning more consistently. Success isn't just luck. It's about understanding and mastering the system.
Okay, a game with rules. And the second way?
Second, it's simply a tool for achieving other goals. It's a means to an end. It buys you options, flexibility, very importantly, time. It's never the ultimate goal itself.
So don't just hoard it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you see it as a tool, your focus shifts to maximizing its usefulness, keeping it working for you, rather than just piling it up.
And if it's a game, you need that scoreboard you mentioned.
Right.
Which brings us to measurement.
Right.
The sources are super clear. Consistent measurement is essential for increasing your income. Now, when I first read that, I thought, okay, but how detailed? Like, what level of measurement do we actually need? Is it just tracking net worth?
That's a great question because people often measure the results, like net worth changes, but not the activities that drive those results.
The input.
Exactly, the inputs. The principles really push for measuring the behaviors and actions related to generation and creating opportunities. How many hours did you spend this week building new relevant connections? How many potential income streams did you actually analyze?
So it's tracking the actions that lead to income, not just the income itself.
Yes, measurement is the feedback loop. It tells you which of your actions, which rules you're playing by, are actually working to boost your capacity to generate income. It helps you optimize your behavior.
Okay. So to wrap up this deep dive, there's one more specific habit mentioned that seems really actionable. It's that the successful buy for both the present and the future. This isn't just a philosophy. It sounds like a daily practice.
It really is. It's about looking for dual utility in purchases.
Dual utility.
Yeah. When buying assets, or even maybe high-value things you use regularly, the wealthy tend to look for, okay, how does this serve me now, and how does it potentially help me, or at least not hurt me, later? They're optimizing for both current use and future stability or growth.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about buying, say, a high-quality commercial vehicle for a business versus a cheap, basic one. The cheap one gives you utility now, gets the job done.
Right.
But the higher-end one might offer better fuel efficiency or reliability. It's better present utility, while also potentially holding its value better or lasting much longer. That's future utility or stability.
Yeah.
The goal is to avoid purchases that just give you a temporary benefit but drain your future capacity.
Okay. Utility now plus growth or stability later.
Got it. Wow, this has been quite a journey through these rules.
It's a different way of thinking for sure.
Yeah. So we've hit on three big shifts, really. First, that kind of radical need for better associations and actively ignoring advice based on scarcity.
Changing your inputs. Second, that crucial difference between using speed for money flow versus needing patience for wealth trajectory.
Irreversible decisions, yeah.
And third, the strategic importance of shifting your main focus to generation, not just saving, and backing that up with consistent measurement of the right activities.
That's a good summary. And if we tie it all back to that idea of money being a game, remember, it's a game with rules you can learn and master. These principles we've discussed, those are the rules.
Right.
So for you listening, maybe the final thought to chew on is this. If you accept these principles, even just tentatively, where's the single biggest point of friction in your financial life right now? Where are you actively violating one of these core rules? Is it the people you're still taking financial advice from? Is it rushing those big irreversible decisions? Or is it maybe just not tracking or focusing on your generation activities at all?
Find the bottleneck.
Exactly. Pinpoint that one rule you need to start actively measuring and tracking differently, starting now, if you really want to increase your income. That's your point of leverage. That's where you can start optimizing the game.